Welcome to RKLE Solutions Sage Intacct R3 release video. My name is Todd Parsons. I'm with the implementation team here at RKLE Solutions for Sage Intacct, and I'd like to thank you for taking the next few minutes to watch our video on the R3 release updates. During our conversation today, we're going to be talking about some core highlights, industry highlights, company administration, accounts payable, accounts receivable, cash management, general ledger, and some platform triggers. Core highlights. So from your home screen, you can click on the Read 2022 R3 release notes, and that will take you to a screen that will give you your core highlights, which I'll do in a demo for you here in just a minute. And then also, it will also then below that take you to your industry highlights. So let me show you real quick what that looks like. So from my home screen, again, I want to click down here at the Read 2022 R3 notes for those of you who haven't done that before. There's an overall video right here that you can click on that will give you some of the highlights from Intacct. And then specifically, you can click on videos here for each different section, and you can drill into more detailed information. Due to the fact that these core highlights have to do with modules that don't exist in everybody's instance, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on those specifically, but please feel free to jump in here and use the information that Intacct has provided. You can see that they did some highlights here with the new electronic vendor payments, some dynamic allocations, some Canadian tax or Canada input tax credits, a little bit of role-based dashboards. Now, you should notice in your dashboards, and I'll jump into this a little bit later, that if you click into your dashboard library, there should be some additional dashboards in there now available for you. There's been some updates to ICRW, and then some reconciliation rules with credit card transactions, which we'll touch on briefly a little bit later. But essentially, now you can set up credit card reconciliation rules, very similar to how you do bank transaction reconciliation rules. And then to kind of key up here with the industry highlights, there was updates to do with the contracts, construction, and this new piece, Sage Intacct Mateo, if I'm pronouncing that right. So that's how you can get to those. And again, just kind of want to show you real quick, you can drill into in here to find out more information about it, or B, you can click on a demo and it'll load here some video on that. So Sage Intacct does a wonderful job of presenting this information in more detail, but I do feel like it's very important for us to at least assist and show you some of the highlights from here. All right. In the company administration, we could see that permissions for accounts payable and time expenses were updated. Some users can now add, delete, and manage in your company sandbox. Intacct is migrating any of you who are a single entity company to a multi-entity company so that you have top level access. And that is happening in a staggered approach. So you check with your VAR with Intacct to see when your company is going to be on the list to migrate over. They've also added an option to mask vendor bank details in the audit trail. You can do this by going to company setup configuration and company information, and then selecting the vendor bank details in the audit trail to mask sensitive data section. So let me just show you what that looks like real quick. So again, in here, we're going to go to company and setup and configuration. I'm just going to go ahead and click edit a while so we can make that change. Otherwise, we're going to scroll down there and then have to click edit, and then now I have to scroll back down again. So let's just come on down here, and we're going to scroll down through here, and we are going to get to the part, oh, I went a little too far, sorry about that, mask sensitive data. And we're just going to check this box for mask vendor bank details in the audit trail and hit save. And now that's been completed. All right. Intacct, now you can also enable custom currencies for your company that you can use to run reports on historical data with historical exchange rates. You can also add currency that is not included in the ISO current lists. Okay. Accounts payable. One of the new features is you can open attachments now in a split window. So, before you had to click on attachments and it would kind of open over top of your transaction. You would have to move it to another screen if you had another screen and then kind of compare things. This now allows you to work with both in the same screen. So I'll give you a quick little demo of what that looks like. And I just grabbed over here in my entity level, go to AP bills, where I have one right here that happens to have an attachment. And if I click on the attachment window here, we see me, which nobody really wants to see, but anyway, we'll scroll on down here. And now you can see that as you can compare the information that's in your attachment with the information in your transaction all at one time. Definitely a good enhancement. I'm thankful for Intacct for doing that. Just go ahead and leave out of here and we'll come back down here. There's also been updates to AP advances. You can create multi-currency advances, track advances easily throughout the workflow, control access with more specific user permissions, and more, all within the refreshed user interface that came out. Intacct has updated the abilities of the employee warehouse and project manager platform user roles to enable approving or declining AP payments easier. And one thing I know a lot of customers that I'm working with are super happy about is the last year Sage Intacct introduced this AP bill automation where it will use OCR recognition to kind of pre-fill your bills for you. It is now the bill creation service is in a closed early adopter stage, which means it's getting closer for the rest of us to use. And I know I'm happy about that, and I hope you are too, if it's something you're going to be looking forward to in the future. Accounts receivable. As you can see here, statement and invoice enhancements, more customizations are available with enhancements to invoices and customer statements. And as far as enhancements to receive payments, the release brings you a simplified workflow with more visibility into auto-apply settings and updated sections and labels. So let's look at that for a second here. So I'm going to come in here. I'm just going to come down to accounts receivable invoices. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Accounts receivable, receive payments new. And we're going to click add to do a new payment receipt. And I'm just going to go ahead and select a customer here. I'm going to grab California Pizza Kitchen. And if I click here and show invoices, now it'll take me right to here. I can select the invoices that I wanted to receive the money from, click add or click add and close. And I'm back here. It just brings everything to you in a nice little easier display than what it did initially when it came out. So it's kind of nice getting used to the new receive payment. I know there's a lot of people that have been using Intacct that are kind of hesitant to move forward with it from the old legacy. Now the old legacy system for receiving payments is going to phase out eventually. So hopefully this new feature, new layout will make you more interested in moving forward with that. All right. Cash management. In the cash management, we have auto create even more transactions for reconciliations. You can use creation rules to automatically create credit card transactions and save time during reconciliation. And reconciliation transaction template require IDs, improve identification and organization of these templates by creating an ID. General ledger. Restricted users can now run allocations. They've enhanced dynamic allocations to enable entity restricted users access to allocations within their entities if you're using dynamic allocations. Restart processing of account allocations. In the account allocation log, you can now restart processing of all allocations. So if you're using allocations, very helpful. And Sage Intacct has now brought in platform triggers. Platform triggers are now generally available. They closed from early adopter. The use of them with both standard and custom objects to automate tasks. Platform triggers are now available for both standard and custom objects. If you're not familiar with them, triggers are a powerful way to automate tasks. They make automatic calls to the application in response to data changes. When you have a regular event related to changing object records, you can add the event to your application in the form of a trigger. They're very similar to a smart event, although it allows you to utilize JavaScript and you can order them in order. So for example, if you have multiple fields you want to fill in a transaction, through triggers, you can order them to say, I want this one to fill, then I want this one to fill. It also works a little bit smoother when you're using multiple on one screen or on one object. And I want to give you just a quick example of what one of those looks like. So we'll come in here. And what I did was I created, let me come in here to my triggers. platform services. I'm drawing up, there it is. And you do, if you're creating one from scratch, you'll have to go into the object to create one. But since I do have some in here, you'll see what we did is I made one to automatically fill the class dimension if it's left blank. Okay, I'm not going to share the coding with that right now. That's something you can reach out to somebody to help you with if you need to. But I want to give you an example of that. So right here under the purchase scene, right here, purchase scene, and I want to go to the purchase requisition, which is the definition that I created this with. And you'll see one here that we created for RKLE Solutions. So if we come in and look at this, we'll see right here that in this particular company, my class dimension is called market. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back this out of here and I'm going to hit post. And now if we go into this document here and click edit, we'll see that it automatically filled the value because it was blank going into there. So there's a lot of cool things that we can do with this. They are new, and while we have had some success with creating some new ones, I know there's a couple bugs that we are working out with things, but overall it's a very, very good piece to use. So I highly encourage, for those of you who like to write a lot of smart rules, to maybe look at some of these in the future. All right. And there we have it, a nice little snippet of some of the release updates for R3. Again, I would have liked to have shown you some more in the demo, but a lot of the big stuff was done on some of the more intricate modules and some of the third-party pieces that are associated with that and some of the industry standards that I don't have in my test company scenario right now. But hopefully something in there piqued your interest, and you can go in and look a little bit more detail into that or reach out to us. Again, I want to thank you for spending a few minutes with us. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and know that we are always here at RKL Solutions to help as needed. Thank you very much.